Manchester United wants Stefan Ortega. But first, we're going to talk about Manchester City saying no more incomings. No more incomings, which means no Livramento, which means no right back. So, apparently, all business is done as far as incomings are concerned. Outgoings, obviously, there'll definitely be more outgoings, so you'd hope so. No right back. Or is it no right back? Not really, because we've still got Matheus Nunes. Now, just hear me out. Matheus Nunes, not an out-and-out right back, but I'm pretty sure he got like 15 G&A last season. And that is, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I'm pretty sure it's 15 G&A though. In a broken team with no Rodri, with a shaky defence that were injured. Matheus Nunes, he's got pace about him. Possibly Walker pace, as last season he did clock the highest speed in the Premier League, Mr. Nunes did. I just want to gather your thoughts on whether you think, going into the season without a natural right back is going to harm us, or do you think having Matheus Nunes there in a more sturdy team with a Rodri in it, with a more prominent centre back partnership, such as a Diaz Vardiol or Husanov Vardiol, maybe you think that Nunes will be better there? Obviously, we know that Matheus Nunes is likely to have a couple bozos, but whether he can do the business down the other end of the pitch, and, I think next season is very much going to be outscore teams, and we've always been that way to an extent. Obviously, we've been a lot more reliable in defence the last couple of years, especially the treble season, but we've always been, all out attack. Let's go for it. But Nunes as an out-and-out right back, I'm okay with it, right? If Pep's okay with it, I'm okay with it. If Pep thinks, yes, we can do it with Nunes, then I'm okay with it. What we can't do is have Nunes get injured, because then it leaves us with Rico Lewis. And you know that because Rico Lewis is going to struggle to get into midfield because we've got enough there. The amount of depth that we got in midfield is stupendous and crazy. You know that Pep isn't going to play Rico Lewis at right back, so it's either going to be an Akanji or a John Stones. Now, Akanji at right back, I just really don't want to see Akanji anymore, okay? He's done a lot for us. I just think it's the right time, non-homegrown, I think it's the right time to ship him out. Thank you for what you've done, Akanji, but, we got Nunes there, and we should, and if you're not happy with just having Nunes there and you think Nunes is going to get injured, which, the chances are quite high. If he's going to be running at them speeds, he's going to be doing that much work, he's going to be sweating like that, grafting up and down the pitch, then, chances are he's going to get a little bit of a niggle now and again. If that's the reality, and Nunes is going to get injured, then we do need a backup right back. Rico Lewis ain't it for me. Rico Lewis is better in midfield. If you're going to play him in midfield, and like I've just said, the amount of depth that we got in midfield, it ain't going to happen, okay? John Stones, good for 2 or 3 games and then injured, unreliable. And then Akanji, probably more bozos than Nunes last season. Probably. And everyone had their bozos last season. Vardiol had a bozo or two, Foden had a bozo or two. It happens. It does happen, to be fair. It does happen. You can't expect every player to go all season without a mistake, which is what a bozo is. If you weren't aware, a bozo is a mistake. But as far as I'm concerned, if you think that Nunes can do it, Pep, then I'm good with Nunes. I would much rather a Livramento, but I wouldn't want what was happening right now with Isak and Newcastle to be happening. I wouldn't want to take Livramento from Newcastle when they got aspirations of growing their team and they think that they can do something in Europe. I'm not about that. I'm more about, if the player wants to come and the team is happy to let him go and you pay the money, then you get things over the line that way. Go and watch my video on Isak and my thoughts on that, which I uploaded earlier on today. But as far as a right back, Dumfries would have been adequate if we could have got some non-homegrowns out the window, but obviously that ain't happening fast enough. A few things have happened over the last couple of days. Echeverri on loan to Roma. Apparently, Girona want the partnership of Heiss and Echeverri. But yeah, I think if we couldn't get Livramento, we couldn't get Dumfries. Don't go for just any old right back just to try and shoe on him in, squeeze him in. If anything, I'd like to see Nico Gonzalez there. Nico G could probably do a job there. He's not slow. He's defensive minded. You know, he could probably do that in a pinch. In a pinch, he could probably do that. But yeah, moving on to Stefan Ortega to Manchester United. A good move for Ortega, what he's wanted, you know, number one at a big club. You know, they might not be performing on the pitch right now, Manchester United, but they are one of the biggest clubs in the world, probably the biggest club in the world. Listen, there's only one way that Manchester United are going to come back, and that's by employing the right players, buying the right players, getting the transfers of those correct players that is going to upgrade them. Onana is not it. Ortega is better than Onana. Obviously, we're shipping Ortega out. We don't think he's worthy of being number one. We've seen him in action. We don't think, as fans, we don't think he's capable of being number one, and, you know, fluent enough at being a number one week in, week out. So that's why he's going. But I think Manchester United, probably the right move for him. In a couple of years, if they don't think that Ortega is number one worthy, then, you know, they'll get a number one and Ortega will be number two. And if Ortega's happy being number two, then he'll stay there. If he's not, then he'll move again. I thought Newcastle was probably a better move for Ortega, but, you know, it is what it is. And that's all I've got for you. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on what I've talked about today, the no right back situation, and Stefan Ortega to Manchester United. Hit that like button. Let's try and get 50 likes. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.